Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. Thank you for giving us the time to discuss this today. As we've heard already tonight, people who grow up in local authority care face enormous challenges and discrimination that often stay with them throughout their lives. Unfortunately, what we call the care system is often anything but caring. Josh McAllister, who led the government's independent review of children's social care in 2022, has called the disadvantage faced by the care experience community the civil rights issue of our times. The statistics are shocking. People with care experience make up a quarter of the homeless population, a quarter of the prison population. They're far more likely to have serious mental health issues and to have so many other disadvantages that are far more frequent among the care experience population than are amongst the general population. Treating care experience as a protected characteristic can go a small way to attempting to acknowledge and mitigate some of the harms faced by care experience people throughout their lives. I'd like to thank Terry Galloway, who's here tonight, for his inspirational leadership of the campaign for care experience to be made a protected characteristic, and Kerry Portman, who spoke earlier, for her help with this motion and for her incredibly powerful speech earlier. Government guidance is very clear that all local authorities, including district councils like ours, have a responsibility to act as corporate parents when making decisions where that's relevant to children and young people in care and to care leavers. So it's not just county council, we do also have a responsibility there as well, according to DfE guidance. Adopting this motion would help us to ensure that we are doing our best to fulfil that vital responsibility. Of course, this measure alone will not solve the huge injustices faced by people with care experience, but it is an important step in making sure that those injustices are taken into account in policy making and in our day-to-day operations, and in making sure that we, as a council, are doing our best to support people who have faced challenges that most of us could never imagine. I hope you'll join me in supporting this motion tonight.
Councillor Bird, do you wish to speak now or reserve the right?
Can I reserve my right, please, Madam Mayor?
Okay, is there any debate? Councillor Bennett?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Green Group unanimously, enthusiastically and wholeheartedly supports this motion, and would like to thank Councillor Goodliffe for bringing it to the County Council, and the brave Ms Portman, who is the public speaker.
Councillor Netzinger?
Thank you. It won't be a surprise to know that I will be supporting this motion. It's been a great pleasure, and I'm very proud to have been able to work with Bryony and others on this at the County Council to try and ensure that we do better for all of our children in care in Cambridgeshire and for those who have care experience. It is not easy in the climate of increased family breakdown and mental health issues to make sure that we are providing the best care and the best corporate parenting that we can for children in Cambridgeshire, but we are together doing everything we can. We are so aware of how much there is to improve, and I can see Bryony nodding at me. I think we both know just how much there is to improve in making sure we look after our children in care in Cambridgeshire as best as we possibly can. So in that context, I'm really grateful that district councils like Cambridge are offering their help and support in making care experience a protected characteristic, giving people the additional recognition and support that would give. Stories like that were shared by Kerry Portman require incredible courage to tell in a public place like this. And I salute that and thank her for not only giving insight into the trauma and pain endured by so many care experienced children, but also by demonstrating through her articulate explanation and eloquence that despite those challenging experiences, she and many other care experienced people do come through those traumas to thrive and become successful and impressive colleagues, friends and citizens. So thank you for your speech this evening. It was very impressive. And thank you for bringing the motion and for the support of this council in taking that work forward. Thanks.
I understand Councillor Tatala wishes to speak.
Madam Mayor, as many of my colleagues already aware that I work in the criminal justice system, and I have seen day in, day out, people who are being subjected or caregivers are struggling. And my view is that it is not help or support. Beyond that, it is a protection. I think I'm wholeheartedly support this motion, and we are supporting and protecting these people. So it is important, and especially in the employment and even in the criminal justice system, the housing, they need this recognition. And it is not merely a support, it is rather a protection. Thank you.
Councillor Porra.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, obviously, extremely supportive of this motion. Thank you to Councillor Holloway for bringing it. I think treating this as a protected characteristic is so important because it allows those of us who may not realise things that we're missing out, it allows people to have a voice. And that's really good practice in terms of equalities, is to not to speak for people, is to let people speak for themselves. So I really, really welcome this because, you know, we won't always think about it. I do work at ARU in my day job with some care leavers. There are very few at university. And obviously it'd be great to give people the chance to do that more, both at sixth form level and at university. But, you know, that idea you can pop home for the holidays, you borrow money from your parents. You know, if we don't have good corporate parenting, care experienced children and adults will not have those advantages. So I salute the resilience of so many people who've come through care experienced children and adults, and I will support anything this council and others can do to support that group, and I think keep it as a protected characteristic so that that is assessed in line with all our other equalities duties. Thank you.
If there is no more to ask, Councillor Smith.
There we are. I'll be very brief. First of all, thank you to Councillor Holloway for bringing this motion and to Councillor Bird for seconding it. We are potentially, if this is passed today, we are in a position where all three authorities representing this city are recognising care experience as a protected characteristic. That's the County Council, the Cambridgeshire and Peterborough Combined Authority and the City Council. And that is a really important step forward. The statistics and the individual stories from people with care experience are at best sobering. At worst, they're tragic. And I want to say thank you so much, as everyone else has, to our public speaker for coming tonight. And I'm in awe, really, of the bravery of standing and sharing your experiences in this context, and thank you. Having spoken to Terry, who's campaigned so hard on this, he's been clear all the way through, this is just the start of the journey. This doesn't provide the end in itself. This is our intent to work as hard as we can for a better future for people who are care experienced. And I just wanted to say I look forward to the work ahead, both here in the city and at the Combined Authority, so that we can ensure that this motion and others like it around the country really make a difference to young people and to adults in our community. Thank you, Councillor Holloway, for bringing this motion forward today.
Councillor Moore.
Thank you. I'll just be very quick. I'd like to add my thanks to Kerry and Terry for coming to our meeting and for working with Bryony to raise this. It feels like this is righting a wrong, that now it's been highlighted. It's a sort of obvious glaring omission as a protected characteristic. And as has been said, I don't need to go over it, this is only one step. It's not the answer, but it highlights the need and hopefully will push all of us to do better, as has been said. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Wade and Councillor Holloway, sorry, did you want to speak? Was there someone else who? Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, Councillor Bird, is this part of the debate or? Okay. Sorry, of course you did. Yes, yeah. So, please speak.
Thank you. Thanks, Cameron, for bringing this forward. And thanks, Kerry, Bryony and Terry for coming tonight. Thank you for telling your story. As you know, I was in care years ago. And I was shocked when I was looking at statistics that disabled children are still treated the same way as they were when I was in care. They are put in a home and left there to rot, really. They get a bit of schooling and that's it. And then when it comes to the end for the disabled child to leave, they then have to go into another institute. And that's what happened to me. They looked all over England. There was 10 institutes they tried for me to go into. So I would have ended up my life being in an institute. But I was lucky, one social worker decided to give her a chance, see if she could live with a family, because I'd never lived in a family. Anyway, I did manage to get adopted, and I was adopted in this building, believe it or not, which is so funny. And to this day, we're now discussing the same issues all them years back. Why? Why are we discussing it now? It's wrong. This should have all been sorted out years ago. Young people who are in care, who come out and then have to start living a normal life, have the biggest problems we'll ever face. Like we said, housing, knowing how to cook, knowing how to sort out money, pay the bills, everything like that. Once the care people drop them, that's a horrible word to use, but that's what happens. They drop them, then they've got nowhere to go. Why are we not the government putting in steps so these people, these young people can have help for at least 2 years after leaving the care system? Because we know what happens to a lot of young people. They get into drugs, crime and everything like that. And you can't help them because, like Kerry said, nobody loved her. And she felt terrible, you know, when her friend passed away. This is wrong. This is a nice young girl. She's got a lot going ahead for her, but there's many more like Kerry. And I think this is a start, but we've really got to push it. I shall never, ever forget my time in care, and I know Kerry won't. It lives with you forever. And it's horrible when you don't feel loved. And we've got to make a difference. We really have. And I think we should push, whatever government is there, we've got to push for them to put money into this system. So we look after these people. As soon as they come out of care, they get a council house or a flat to start them off. I hear that Kerry had to find a university that would take her for 52 weeks so she could study. That's disgusting, don't you agree? That we're having to do this? So I'm so pleased to be able to speak out with this motion, and I do hope that the whole room tonight supports this motion.
So, Councillor Wade and Councillor Holloway, you have the right of reply. Oh, sorry. Councillor Hussain, okay.
Yes, Madam. You got my full support for this motion. Thank you for bringing this type of issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hussain. Councillor Wade, Councillor Holloway, you have the right of reply. 3 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just to echo, thanks for bringing the motion from Councillor Holloway. I think we can all understand or have some understanding from the comments and testimony from earlier and now just how important this matter is, to bring a voice and validation to those who are care experienced. How this motion will impact care experience in a positive way, we can go on to quantify, but I think the lived human experience is far more important and less quantifiable. To be seen and heard and counted is essential to the human condition, and as well as finding our place in our community and working towards our best future, we need to feel embraced and supported by it. So thank you to Councillor Holloway and Councillor Bird for this motion.
Thank you. So we now go to the vote on the motion. Oh, sorry, dear, I think I'm getting tired. Councillor Holloway, and you have three minutes.
Just to say thank you very much, everyone, for your speeches and for your support. And as others have said, this is just the start. It's an important step. It has to be just the start of us doing much, much better for people who are in care, people who have left care, and acknowledging and trying to deal with the problems that care experience can bring.
Thank you. So now we'll go to the vote on the motion. Councillor Hussain.